warm welcome back to my channel, where in this video I'll be talking about the nutrition that I had through the race and pre-race and post-race for my first ever triathlon. Yes, and it just so happened to be a half Ironman. Let's go. Oh yes guys, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate the time that you take coming to this channel. If you are new, then please do subscribe and click on the link there. And this is part of a trilogy of, which is three of three videos where I'll be going through my first ever triathlon I've took part in as an absolute beginner, where on the previous video I talked about the actual race event itself. This one will be about the nutrition, and then a subsequent one will be about the kit that I used throughout the three stages of the actual triathlon itself. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the nutrition for the event. Yes guys, I say dive straight in. But the nutrition for me is not just about what we have on race day. It's what we do in terms of preparation for that race. So the prep for it, you know, the day before, the week before, and so on and so forth. So for me, I'm just going to go through the week before. In terms of my diet, it's pretty much I eat what I like when I want. Yeah, it's a mixture. I'm not pure vegan. I do eat vegan food. I do enjoy my meat and so on and so forth, but it's pretty mixed balance. But I do tend to be, it's primarily carbohydrates, but also all the other different types of foods. But if I talk about the week before, a lot of people talk about carb loading. This is an endurance event, so yes, I do up my carb intake for the week before. But a key thing also, which is I can't stress enough, people talk about hydration during the race and so on and so forth, but for the week before, drink lots and lots of water. I was getting through, this is an example of a bidon, I'd be getting through a couple of litres of water a day, every day for the week build up. So my body is fully hydrated, ready for the race. No alcohol or anything like that a week before, ready for the race. So that's the prep itself. But during the actual race, I know you're keen to know during the actual race, or immediately before. So about an hour before the actual swim, because I had experimented with all different types of foods, but about an hour before, I would have one of these before the swim, nice chia charge, and that would sort of set me up for the actual start of the swim. But for breakfast, maybe 2-3 hours before, I would have only had a bagel and a cup of tea. That's it for the breakfast, because I would have been nutritioned up the day before. But one of the tips that I have is, in terms of certainly the day before and 2 days before, of not eating meat, because I found that, and everyone's different. You might find that eating meat the day before works for you, but for some people it takes a lot of time for the meat to be processed. So I didn't want the body to be processing any meat during the race. So I tend to stick to vegetable type stuff the day before, 48 hours before. So that was one little prep thing. But an hour before the swim, that I had one of these. Yeah, so obviously during the swim I'm not taking on any nutrition or whatever, and it was only 46 minutes out in the lake swimming the 2 kilometers. So when I came out onto the bike, changed for the bike, so the nutrition during the bike, and this is one that I'd done a dry run and practiced. You may have seen on my dry run I was eating slices of this during an 80k bike ride, but I found that cycling at a particular speed and chewing on this, even with drinking water, the consistency was just too thick for me to chew on, and I found I was, it was all a bit too much. I had tried these duo bars as well, and I had tried energy gels as well. Now, whilst energy gels were easy to take on and whatever, it does involve having to rip it open and do all that, and for me, safety was paramount. So I then found out that for Tailwind, yes, have you seen this before? Tailwind, look, it's even got my name on and a smile, Donato, yeah. So Tailwind, choose whatever flavour you wanted, but what I had on the bike was 2 of these. So these are 1 litre bidons, filled it up with water, and then followed the instructions on the back here, how many scoops to fit in there. And that was my whole nutrition, 2 litres of that during the bike ride, 3 hours, 17 minutes, and I got through that. The plan was to have one of these or 2 of these towards the end of the bike ride, but I felt good. So whilst I had these on the bike as well, and I had one of these just in case, this with the tailwind, water, tailwind, I felt, my tummy felt good, I felt fine, and that set me up ready for the run. And if you watch my previous video in terms of the review of the run, it took me 1 hour 32 and I was the third fastest, yeah, in the run time at the end of that particular triathlon. So over the moon. So the nutrition on the bike got me ready, but during the actual run, I got through 3 of these. So one at the very beginning, because I was supposed to have had one at the end of the bike ride, but I forgot. So I took one immediately when I got off the bike. And you might have seen me quaffing on one at the start of the actual run. And then I had another one of these. I felt I needed one. Again, I'm just going on feel. I didn't have any preset times or schedules. And it was around 6 or 7K into the run. I took one of these. And then again, I had, I think, another one. It was around 14, 15 kilometers. I took another one of those as well. And as I mentioned in the race review, that run, I felt really strong, felt superb, despite it being an incredibly hilly course and undulating and all that type of stuff, and the hills really did take it out of my legs. I felt really strong, finished strong, and it gave me the confidence to think, yep, I can have another go at this. So that was the nutrition during the race. Post-race, I was almost eating whatever I wanted, but I went back to the hotel and had a humongous, I think the biggest meal I could find, with lots of chicken, chips, onion rings, gravies, barbecue sauce, whatever it was. It was just massive meal. And quaffed that, recovered from that. I also had, I think I had some milk, skimmed milk, whatever I could find in my van at the time. I was just drinking that. Lots and lots of water to rehydrate. And that was my post-recovery stuff. And then the day after, again, probably eating a few more elephants. But in essence, that was the nutrition. So the before, during and after. My caveat to all of this is for you guys, what do you normally do for your type of nutrition? If you have done half Ironman distances, full Ironman or endurances, what nutrition do you use? But for me, this is personal to me, what works for me. Some people can work with solids on the bike ride and wherever it worked, but for me, it wasn't working. Maybe there's some other type of solids that are a bit more manageable to chew on and eat. Because I did find, obviously, because I was getting through that, some people might say it's too much detail, but I did go to the toilet quite a few times throughout that particular race. But then when you're out for nearly 6 hours, for me, maybe it's my age or the temperature it was, wet, windy, cold for me, I felt like I needed the toilet. Well, I did have a toilet quite a few times, but hopefully you've found this useful in terms of the nutrition and how that worked for me. And I clearly done something right, because to finish that strong in my first ever triathlon, there had to have been something right, because I was passing people who were completely shot to pieces. They completely ran out of energy, and yeah, it was just one of those days. So it was essential for me, and what worked on this day may not work on a different kind of day. If it was hot and humid, this may not work for me. I don't know, you know. So but that's my review of the nutrition. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe. And I look forward to sharing you the next video, where I'll be going through the kit that I used on my first ever triathlon. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate the time that you take to come and watch this each and every time. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I love you all. See you soon. Bye.